Hi, and hi, baby Tay. I'm so excited to see your face. Okay, so I just wanted to do this call. I had talked to Kate about this topic simply because this is something that I need to constantly remind myself of, and something that I really struggled with at the beginning, as well as something that I intermittently struggle with um, when I'm kind of on the down slopes of my business. As everybody knows, being an entrepreneur, you have highs and lows, and this is just something that gets into my head and I let affect me. And so I know that I am not the only person that needs this. Put a one in the chat if you guys have ever felt grimy, like pitching the business. I was like, I feel like everybody.
Oh,
Definitely something that I struggled with at the beginning, something, like I said, that I struggle with intermittently. Perfect. Thank you guys all for being honest. And that's okay. One of the podcasts that I listened to recently, and I'm sure that you guys saw us send it in the chat, was Debbie Neal's podcast about burning the boats. This opportunity that we have been given and offer other people is a gift. What we are offering with this business and this company is a gift. Nowhere, literally anywhere else, are we able to get the raises that we get, the perks that we get, the compensation plan that we get. And people out there need this business, and holding it from them is doing them a disservice. Now, can we go about it different ways? Absolutely. Can we get better about pitching? Absolutely. But is pitching them the business grimy? Absolutely not. Everybody literally in this world needs it. With the increase in gas prices, everybody could use an extra $100, right? I mean, it literally costs us $100 to fill up the truck. Increase in food prices, just paying for groceries themselves has gone up, and nobody's 3% raise is going to cover the increase in groceries, right? So Debbie's analogy that she used about burning the boat is going into the opportunity of offering this business as offering to take people on a trip, getting on the best ship of their life to this all-inclusive exotic island with the best things ever available. This business, our compensation plan, things like that. And once you have arrived with the people that are leading, like that you're leading this business with, your new market partners, burning the boat. So there's no other option. There's no option to go backwards. There's no option to get back on the boat and go back to safety. Your only option is to stay there and succeed, and to stay there through the rough times, through the good times, and succeed. If you never have the option of getting back on the boat and going back to your safe spot, working a crap ton of overtime, working 6 jobs, whatever that option is, that safe option, you have no other option but to be successful. And if you leave that safe boat there and you don't burn the boat, your other girls, your other market partners are going to see that, and they're going to see that you have your safety net there, and they're also going to use that safety net. They're going to see that you still have that safe spot. They're going to see that you still pick up and work 80 hours a week, and they're going to keep doing that and only half-ass their business as well, because they're going to know there's always a way out. That is not the way to lead in this business, and that is not the way to succeed in this business. You have to go into this business linking arms with people, knowing that there is no other way out except for to burn the boat and commit 100% and be there with them through everything. Yeah, Taylor, literally, I will send the podcast in the group chat later, because it is absolutely the best thing ever. So I'm going to relate this personally to something that I was going through and now going through. As a lot of you guys know, I joined this business when, right before Addie's first birthday. And I was struggling to literally just put a birthday party together for her. My why and why I started actually working this business brings me to tears almost every time I talk about it. But that's okay. That's the whole point. Now being pregnant again, I really just go back and think about how different my life could have been in like my couple weeks that I had with Addie from the hospital and maternity leave, and how different that could have been if I would have had this opportunity earlier, if somebody would have presented this opportunity to me earlier. So with this baby, I'm not stressed about taking the entire 12 weeks off, even if I'm not getting paid from the hospital. That's huge. I got 6 weeks, 60% paid with Addie, and it was a struggle. I was struggling financially. I was struggling mentally. I struggled a lot mentally when I went back to the hospital working, knowing that, Addie was so tiny when I left. And I just am so incredibly thankful for this opportunity that I have and this foundation that I'm going to have in this business for round 2, and not having to stress about using up all of my PTO to take, extended leave, affording, anything that I may need for her, or may need for, the second child, like I did with my first one. Mark not having to go and work overtime while I was on leave so that we could still pay our bills, things like that. And just kind of thinking about this is why I brought this up to Kate. And it's not something that we think about every day, about how much of a gift that we are giving. We don't know the struggles that people are going through. We don't know, how much just a couple extra $100 or a couple grand could mean to them or their family. But that's why we're here. We are here to offer the business as a gift and to change lives, and what they do with it, that's their choice. But us offering it to them is our duty to them, and not doing that is a disservice. So it's kind of just what I wanted to share with everybody. That's been really heavy on my heart, and I just really wanted to change some perspectives. If you guys are kind of getting in that funk of like, I'm not offering this, I'm feeling grimy, this doesn't feel authentic, things like that. It's always authentic if you believe 100% in this business, and if you are going to stay in here and ride the storms with your market partners through thick and through thin and everything that they struggle with. And if you are willing to burn the boat, it is always authentic. It's never grimy. And if somebody takes it a different way, that's not on you. But it is on you if you don't offer this business. So it's kind of what I had for that. I will say that the same thing goes for VIPs, and it's kind of the same concept of us offering the safest and most, I guess, the best products that we have on the market, and not offering it to people is also doing it a disservice. I won't go into a huge tangent on that like I did NPs, but just kind of use that same mindset with VIPs. You are doing somebody a disservice by letting them use Suave. So that is that. I will let Kate take it from here.
Thank you, sis. No, I totally agree. And I think what I'm going to cover is sort of what goes behind all that, because I think there's a lot of reasons that we can feel those ways, or a lot of underlying reasons we get to this point in our business where we are more hesitant to shout our business from the rooftops. First and foremost, you guys, the thing about this business, and you'll hear every SED say this whenever they give trainings, something for them clicked at one point. And then everyone always says after whatever it clicked, the thing that clicked was that they just went all in. They just couldn't stop talking about their business to everyone. They were sharing it word of mouth. They were sharing it every time they met someone. They were sharing it every interaction they got on like IG. They were creating connections. They were hosting wash parties. Like they just went all in and would not shut up about their business. And that's terrifying, right? And it's for, I think there can be a lot of different reasons for this fear to like not go all in like that. But I think there's two main ones. And before I continue, anyone watching this recording or watching us right now, I look like this because I had surgery 2 days ago, but I'm showing up, so it really doesn't matter. But if you're wondering, that's why. So the first two, or the main two fears that I think are reasons for this fear that we have behind not promoting ourselves. Number one, the fear of failure / rejection. It's not always just failing, guys, because a lot of us think that failure is a rejection or vice versa, right? Being told no all the time, or this is a huge one I find, especially with new market partners. We prejudge someone's response to us pitching them the business. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever hesitantly reached out or just decided not to pitch or reach out to someone that you knew that was in your warm or hot market because you already knew what they were going to say. I'm guilty of this. And I have 2 stories as to how this literally bit me in my own ass. The first one of my best friends ever from college, I did not pitch her this business in the beginning. And to this day, she would still be good at it. About 8 or 9 months into my business, so 2.5 years ago almost, she made a comment to me like, how are you liking money? Whatever. I was like, honestly, I love it. She hadn't even bought the products yet. And she said something along the lines of, yeah, before I thought I wanted to do it, but I know now I can never do it. I was like, what do you mean before? She's like, well, when you first started, I assumed that you were going to want me to work with you, but you never even mentioned it to me. I wanted to do it, but now I don't want to anymore. So I had someone that was interested from the very beginning because your best friend does something and of course they're interested, but I just thought she was going to think she was too cool for it. So I never asked her. And then time went on almost a year later, and now she's no longer interested. I never even mentioned the idea of her doing this business with me. And now she's still not interested. That's one example. The second example, and I won't name names here because it has something to do with people we all know and work with all the time. One of a girl that was my grand little in college. I know I'm not the sorority type, but I was in a sorority. She's like an influencer, tons of followers. I think at the time she had like 30,000 followers. And I knew that she already had tried the products before and loved them. I literally did not start recruiting her for a 1.5 years into my business because again, I thought she would say like, no, I'm too cool. She was just about to graduate college. She was one of those college girls that gets free stuff from like Boohoo and just posts the hashtag and was fine with her free stuff is what I thought. That was my preconceived notion of what she was going to say to me. I later find out her and I had a very personal relationship. She joined someone else in this business who was an influencer type over me because the girl that she ended up joining probably actually reached out to her and offered her this business. This girl and I had known each other for years. She was like my little in my sorority. Like we had an actual personal relationship, and she chose to go with someone that she didn't have a personal relationship over me because that person actually offered them the business. Do you know what that felt like, you guys? And I work with this other person. There was no drama there. It was my own fault. It just was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I didn't pitch this girl and she just joined someone else that she didn't know before even being interested in joining money. So number one, stop being afraid of rejection. It could bite you in the ass. Or 2, guys, everyone gets rejected every single day. You get rejected pretty much every time you go out of your house. Oh, that's too expensive. That's a rejection. I'm not going to buy that. You get rejected every time you get told, no, sorry, we're out of that today. You get rejected Every time you ask if someone can hang out and they can't, you get rejected. If you ask your husband if he could pick something up on the way home, but he's already home. Like there's so many things that we go through life being told no. So why is it different with this business? Why are we so scared to promote ourselves and promote our dreams, and knowing that, like Tosh said, this is going to help so many people? Why are we terrified to be told no about that, especially when down the line it could be a yes, or it's like, okay, move on to the next. The fear of rejection is what we have to get over. And secondly, or AKA fear of failure. Secondly, the fear of judgment. And I think this is a huge one for everyone. No matter how long you've been in this business, I think this will always play a part in how everyone carries themselves. To this day, there are people, like, I'll be hesitant in person. That's my biggest thing. I'm getting really good at it, but there are times that I'm like, oh, it's not the right time to pitch. I don't want to. I'm fear of being judged for being the girl that promotes her business or promotes herself, who talks about her business at the gym, who talks about her business when she sparks up casual conversation at the grocery. And there's 3 things I want you guys to remember about the fear of judgment. And let me find it because it was really good when I was researching for this call. Hi, babe. The fear of judgment. I got to think about, first of all, reverse the roles. Say it was you and your friend got an opportunity that is so far outside what you would do in your life, right? Like you're not interested in whatever that thing is at all. You would never do it, not your thing, you know, the Kim Kardashian reel that's going around right now, like not into it. Fine. But if your friend came to you and told you that she got this opportunity and she was excited, would you judge her and be like, that's weird? No, you would be so happy for her. You would support her. You would give her all the hype that she needed, right? You wouldn't sit there and be like, well, that's weird. I don't really like that. Why would you do that? Like 99% of us in this business would never say that to someone. Number 2, the people that do judge you, think about it. It's probably people that you don't even have contact with. And they're going to take 2 minutes to criticize you silently behind their phone and then move on with their life. Does that even affect you? No, it doesn't. It has no effect on your day-to-day life. They have no effect on your checks unless you let them, unless you let that fear of the random person or the random follower judging you for 2 minutes silently without you even knowing hold you back. When I say it out loud, put a 3 in the chat if you've ever been scared of that type of judgment and now you feel kind of silly for it. I'll put a 3 in the chat. I have nothing to hide. I'll say it again. If you've ever been scared of the type of judgment from basically a stranger that will judge you for 2 minutes silently behind a phone that you'll technically never know about, if that fear right there has ever held you back in some sort of way. Who in here feels a little silly when I put it in words like that? And I'm not throwing shade because it's been me. Exactly, guys. Do not let those fears that mean nothing, that are just planted into our heads basically from the day that we are humans and growing up, and don't let it affect your business. Don't let it affect the way that you feel about how this business could change lives. The last thing is to remember, everyone else has stuff going on. Everyone else has lives. Nobody is sitting behind a computer, sitting there looking at your every move, making sure you're not being the shampoo girl today. No, and I don't mean this to be harsh. Nobody cares that much. Nobody's that interested. I promise you. If anything, if they're that mad about it, they're either going to mute your stories or just exit to the next story. Nobody is going to sit there and spend more than half a minute rolling their eyes or judging you. And they're definitely not going to say something. And if it's something, if you have someone negative in your life that's like, you know, very well, that's like trying to bring you down, that's a whole different conversation, but that's not a fear. That's a whole different call, right? We're talking about these fears, these limiting beliefs, limiting fears that in reality, 99% of the time, if not 100% of the time, are completely fabricated in our own minds. So when I sit there, I want you guys to sit there and think about how I worded all this, because all of it's true. The way that I worded it is just plain, simple fact. Think about, do you want those types of things to hold you back from literally telling everyone you know about your business? Like tomorrow, I want Tasha to go on that beach, and whoever like she says hi to sparks up a conversation. She needs to pitch her business to someone on that beach tomorrow. I don't care. Wherever you go tomorrow, spark up a conversation. Have your business cards and be like, hey, I'm not sure if you're into beauty products or not, but I run my own business. I have this team. I think you'd honestly be great at it. Here's my card if you're ever interested, or if you ever want to grab drinks sometime. Guys, it's that simple. That was so authentic. That is a normal way to talk to someone. That's a normal way to make a friend. Stop being scared to be a human being, because that's what you're doing. Men are not scared. And I don't mean to make this a sexism thing, but men are not scared to walk into any room and toot their own horn about anything. It might be like a compensation issue. I'm not really sure, but men will do it whenever they get the chance for anything. Sorry, we're so much smarter than their species. Why are we not the ones going into every room shouting from the rooftops, like, look what I've done? My husband could never do this, and he'd be the first one to say this. This is hard work. This takes a lot of brains, a lot of education that you've put into your business, and you're a badass. So everyone needs to know about it. So here are the things that you can do to get over it. One, you need to identify the actual fears and not just the superficial ones. You need to go on paper, get to the deep root of why you actually don't like. I want you guys running around. I want you promoting your business to where it feels like you're running around your own house with your ass on fire. Like you feel manic. That's how much you want to share this business. If you're sitting there saying, well, I've reached out and pitched to 10 people, like today or ever. Because if it's ever, you are sorely mistaken. That is not how you promote yourself and promote your business. 10 a day, good for you, sis. Let's do 2 more before bed. That's solid. Keep it up. But identify the real fear that's holding you back from promoting yourself in this business. Number 2, after you write them down on paper, how can you turn those fears into an empowering statement, into a income producing statement, into a manifestation? How can you turn, I'm scared of what other people are going to say when I go all in and just can't stop talking about my business on social media? That fear right there, how are you going to turn that in to something that's going to serve you? For me, what I would say is, I know that there are people out there that are going to see my business as either threatening or they're jealous of my success, but I'm going to pour positivity back out there and into them. And hopefully it seeps right back into them and they will join me. That's how I turn that statement into something positive, into something that serves me. And there's many ways to turn the first statement into something that serves you, because what serves me might not serve you. Turn whatever fear, that limiting belief, write it out in 4 different ways. There's many ways to turn a fear into something that manifests success, that manifests something to serve you. And 3, talk about it to yourself every single day. Write it on Post-it notes. Put it on your phone background. Say it out loud every single day. The only way to overcome fear is to face it head on. Not the only way, but it's the best and the fastest way. When you constantly tell yourself something over and over and over, you're eventually going to believe it, and you're eventually going to practice what you preach. It's a fake it till you make it situation. And it's going to be terrifying at first when you get over that fear, but think about how good it's going to feel when you do it just once. When you push past that fear that there's a level of fear we're willing to go past, but you get to a certain part of your comfort discomfort level.
Oh
And
my God.
everyone knows where that discomfort level is that always stops them. What if you get one step further past that discomfort level? Think about how empowering and how good that's going to feel. And then every single time you get one step further and you push that comfort zone way far ahead of you to the point where you don't even recognize the type of businesswoman or businessman or business person that you are in 3 months. Where you look back at this call in 3 months and you're like, damn, I never ever would have done that 3 months ago. Write it out, identify the actual trigger point of your fear, not just the superficial one, not just I'm scared of judgment. I want detailed shit. Like when you write out your why, it needs to be detailed. It needs to be in depth. It needs to be thought out, because unless you get to the root of it, you're never actually going to overcome that fear. Once you get to the root of it, turn it into an empowering statement that serves you. Turn it into something that manifests success, that manifests your growth. And then 3, say it over and over and over, and actually try to move past that comfort zone. Take one step past that comfort zone at a time. Every day you say that out loud. Every day you manifest it. Every day you take one step further past that comfort zone to overcome that fear. And like I said, in 3 months, the fear that we talked about today, you won't even remember that you have that fear because it's gone. You'll look back at today and be like, wow, I really was scared of that. That's crazy. You crazy girl. That's another reel going around. Know what I'm talking about? You crazy, crazy girl. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. That's all I have for you guys. And I hope this helped a little bit. I know it was pretty like straightforward. All we talked about was one thing, but I really think it's holding a lot of us back from being MMB, to be quite honest. If anyone has any questions, let me know. You crazy, crazy girl. I hope I watch this in a year and I'm like, what was I talking about? I'm gonna stop recording.